What's up, everybody? Thunderfist 1978 coming at you here on a Wednesday evening. Hope everybody's had a great day so far. So tonight we're going to continue through our playthrough of East, Memories of Celceta, which we started last night. Apologize, folks. Every time you save or load data in this game, the video feed cuts out and all it broadcasts is audio through the microphone. Let's see here. Where have we not gone so far? Okay, we could try back at the waterfall cave. So right now it's mostly about trying to find places we haven't been and mapping them out. Nice! Oh. Dude, did you really have to go down there? Oh! We inflicted fire damage. Nice. See, now we gotta find our way. Uh-oh. Now we have to get out of the water once we deal with our nemesis here. And we inflicted poison damage. Nice. Okay, so before we venture on, we'll go ahead and sheathe the sword. Get our hit points back. Let's see. Well, there's a few places we could go. Great Forest. And there's a memory up here, which eventually we'll want to go up there and get that. If for no other reason, the fact that Adol will get some of his, will get one of his stats upgraded. Let's see. Okay, yeah, looks like we have been here, because it says we've already... Wait a minute. Sorry, folks. I'm trying to figure something out here. We'll go this way first. If for no other reason, so we can get the memory. Plus we should... Ooh! We inflicted flame damage. And... those two are dead. Nice! That one is kind of pricey, though, as far as the, cost of points goes. And it looks like he's poisoned. Oh, he just kept nailing the corpse. I didn't realize you could do that. heading for the cave. Okay, looks like we'll have to go elsewhere in order to get that memory. But it's not for nothing that we're coming this way. We'll see if by chance we can get the materials we haven't found yet. What is it, like 2 materials here we can get? Yeah. There's 2 materials we can get that we haven't got any of yet. And we get inflicted flame damage. And once again. Wait a minute. Okay, we got sturdy lumber. So now there's only 1 piece of material that we can get out of this cave that we haven't gotten yet. Could it be gold ore, maybe? We got... Huh. I guess it was iron ore we didn't have yet. Hey, Marty DeLorean! How you doing this evening? Welcome to the stream. Okay, so it looks like we got everything out of here, so I don't see any reason to come back here for now. So we'll go ahead and exit here and see where else we can go. What other areas we can reveal. If you're not familiar with this game, this is Ys, Memories of Celceta. It's part of a series that goes back almost as long as The Legend of Zelda. Oh, this game's amazing. Well, the series as a whole is amazing. Like I said, it has its roots all the way back in 1987, which is the year before, the year after the original Legend of Zelda came out in Japan. This game came out in 2012, and it replaces the 4th game in the series. Basically, what happened there is when the 4th game came out, there were 2 different games that were released called Ys 4. One of them was called Mask of the Sun, and it was for the Super Famicom. And then there was another one released for the TurboGrafx. I think Hudson Soft did that one. Tonkin House did the one for, I'm sorry. Siri thought we were talking to her. And there she goes again. My apologies. Okay, so neither game was actually released by Nihon Falcom, which were the original creators of the series. This one is, and it was the game that basically replaced Mask of the Sun and this Love live action RPG, Secret of Evermore, Chrono Trigger. You know, I've never played Secret of Evermore. I've never played Secret of Evermore. Only played Secret of Mana a limited amount. I almost owned Secret of Evermore though. I tried to pick it up at a local video store back in the late 90s. Unfortunately, although they had the case out for it, when they went to retrieve the game, it turned out that they didn't have the game. So instead, they gave me Tecmo Legend of the Stars or whatever it was called. I made a very stupid decision that day and didn't take that game. I should have taken it. Because ever since then, I've always been curious as to whether that game's any good. One of these days, I'll probably pick it up and find out for myself. But yeah, Chrono Trigger, my gosh, don't get me started on that one. That game is a work of art, simply put. So this game, you see these little areas right here. These are areas where you can actually mine materials. What I was doing in that waterfall cave was trying to get the different materials that I hadn't found yet, and we found every different material that can be found there. So we're pretty much done with that cave for now. Basically, the story of the game is that Adol wandered into this forest that we're in, and it's a forest that causes you to basically lose all orientation. You lose sense of direction, you lose sense of time, and basically most people get lost until they die. Well, Adol ended up coming out of the forest, but in the process, he lost all of his memories. So the local government offered a bounty to anyone who could map the forest out entirely. Because like I said, the conditions of the forest mean that there's no complete map of it. So they said any adventurers who want to go into the forest and try to map it out will have a huge reward for you if you do that. Well, Adol decides to go try it out, but not just so he could get the money. He has a feeling if he goes back into the forest, he can get his memories back. So, kind of a dual objective for him. But yeah, I've been a fan of this series since the early 90s. And really happy this game's out on PS4 so that people like me with such limited equipment are able to stream it easily. Okay, where should we go to next? We'll go the direction we were going to go before. Nice! Oh boy, it's Moonwatcher. I wonder. Oh wow! We hit him with a double whammy of taking extra damage. Uh-oh. Yeah, we'll go ahead and finish him off. Oh, wow. So again, he's on fire and he's poisoned. Just popping in, unfortunately. Can't stay long because I'm at work, but yeah, my all-time favorite for old school classic RPGs is Dragon Ball. Ah, excellent choice. I've played a little bit of those games. I played the first one to completion, and I own the others for the NES. And let's see, I own, I think, Dragon Warrior 5 and 6 for the DS, along with Dragon Warrior 7 and 8 for the PlayStation and PS2. Although still, the only one I've actually beaten is the first one. One of these days, I'll pick them up again and actually play them to completion. In the meantime, I do have Dragon Warrior 1, 2, and 3 for the Switch. I imported a physical copy that has all 3 from Asia. Nice! We killed Moonwatcher. Well, I call that thing Moonwatcher And the reason I call it that is because it's a nod to the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey. Moonwatcher is the large ape that's seen at the beginning of the movie. And you saw how freaking huge that ape was. Kind of reminds me of Moonwatcher from that movie. So that's why I call it that. That's not what it's actually called in the game, though. Speaking of which, you have all these different options in your journal. You can look over the story. You can look over the quests that you can get, which there's only 4 in the first town, and we've done them all. Another awesome RPG. I've not played any of those, but they kind of sparked my curiosity. I probably will one of these days. But yeah, you can every time you take out an enemy, you can view info on them here. Buzonga. That's what that large ape is called that I was calling Moonwatcher. Monkey King's hair. That's something I haven't gotten yet. And then the bosses go down here. Go on sale often. They're like watching an anime. Oh, cool. I'll definitely have to give those a look sometime. Let's see. Haven't really explored over here. This is where I was going earlier before I ended up going off to the cave. Dude, if you do not stop going down into that water, I swear. So the red-haired character with the sword, he's the main character of the series. That's Adol. And I think it was starting with the 7th game you were able to start playing as other characters. Until then, Adol was the only character you could ever play as. I do like how they gave us added variety after with the 7th game and on. But yeah, originally E7 came out on the PSP. And Ark of Nepishtim, which is the 6th game, came out on the PS2 and the PSP. I think the PSP had more extra content, but the PS2 version had every character voiced. And there was next to no voiceover in the PSP port. Guess which one I like better. So it doesn't look like we're going to get any further over there for now. I guess we could try the downward path over here. I know those brittle bones don't look appealing, but there's a shop you can trade those in for and get sturdy bones. Oh, look what I can do now. So he's already poisoned. And now he's taking flame damage. Nice. Good lord. I think what it is, the reason he was losing so many hit points is because he has a large amount of hit points. And it seems like when you take flame or poison damage, the amount of hit points you lose is proportionate to how many hit points you have. That is to say, the more hit points you have, the more you lose every time the status ailment takes effect. Uh-oh. Alright, Moonwatcher. I know it's not what you're actually called, but hey. Ooh! You got a flash move. And he is on fire, and he's poisoned. Uh-oh. Man, we're killing those things much faster than we used to. The first time we killed one of those, oh my gosh, it took forever. But my gosh, the levels we got from it totally made it worth it. Yeah, this is... I own the PS Vita port of this game, but I never actually played it, so playing through this game on stream is my first time actually playing it. And it's such a fun game so far. Alright, he's taking flame damage. Ha ha! We gained another level. Fierce Beast Claw. Okay. That's interesting. You can hit their corpses and keep getting materials for crafting, or either trade them in for better materials. That is very interesting. Let's see what we can get from here. Iron ore and silver ore. Nice. Not sure we can find gold ore, but we'll find it as we go along. Looks like there's an upward path we haven't taken yet. That looks like a good next step for us. Oh, Lord. Alright. And another thing to keep in mind in this, too, is that if you stand still for a little bit, you, as long as you're in an outdoor area, you will automatically recover your hit points. That's why I'm just standing there, because we were poisoned and our hit points were coming back a little faster than we were losing them due to poison. Let's see. Yeah, we did go up this way. Alright, dude. Quit it. Cool. And you can level up your skills, too. That Blade Rush that I'm doing, that's a skill of Adol's, and that can be leveled up if you keep using it. Definitely love the art style and mechanics. So smooth. Yeah, it's this whole series, the company behind it, they've done a great job with it, and I'm really hoping the 5th game will one day be released here, because I think ever since Ark of Nepishtim, and certainly with Ys 8, I think more people have taken notice of the series here in the U.S. The 5th game is still the one that has never been released here in the U.S. in any form. At least this one came here in kind of a replacement form, if you will. But yeah, this one, the original game, basically you had this overhead view and you just walked into characters with your weapon to attack. There was no button to swing your sword. You just automatically attacked them and you walked into them with your weapon. It's come a long way since then. But yeah, I own most of the games in the series, at least the US releases. I think the only one I don't own in some form or another is Ys 5. Because I own both the PS2 and the PSP ports of Ark of Nepishtim, and also the PSP version of Ys 7. And then I own the PS4 version of Ys 8, which was the last one, which is the last one canonically to come out. Of course, this one's a re-release. But they released a cool collector's edition for this. The PS4 one has 12 art cards with art of the female characters from the series and also a soundtrack. While the Vita version, among other things, it got an actual map, a printed map, and I think that was the item in that game that I was the most excited for. Either that, or I think it actually had a compass with it too. Okay, looks like we may not be able to get through there. No, if he can't bust through that rock, Adol certainly isn't going to get through it. I'm seeing now why we didn't go any further up there. Looks like we have to get to certain events before we can get up there. And there are so many different enemy characters too. As you can see, this is early in the game. And already we're coming up against like these huge hulking ape creatures, and there's another one. If you try to fight that thing when you're like level 5 or 6, it's possible to kill it, but you're gonna do a lot of running back to the statue if you're gonna pull that off. Which as you can see, there's not always one present. So if you're gonna go after those things, you better make sure you're either leveled fully or that you've got one of those statues around. Let's see. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so that one over there, when you see the dashed lines, it means there's an item you can mine there that you haven't gotten yet. Looks like there's probably rotting fruit and more of those nuts over there. Ow, quit it. Tell me will your stream be approximately on the weekend? I'm planning, since I get off at 4 o'clock on Saturday, I'm planning to stream shortly after that. Like maybe around 5 or so. And that's gonna be the Shenmue stream. Alright, Moonwatcher. It just occurred to me too. Even if there's not a statue around, if we can get far enough away from him. Okay, what area are you in so I can get the time zone correct? I'm in the Eastern time zone. So, you said you're from Alberta, am I correct? I believe that's what you told me before. If I'm wrong about that, then I apologize. Okay, yeah. So I'm 2 hours ahead of you. Oh no. Now when we fight Moonwatcher there, he's gonna have full hit points again. Let's see. Okay, good. So we got both the items out of there. By the way, I want to make an announcement real quick. So this is just in case people come back and watch the VOD later. I announced earlier in the week that tomorrow's Throwback Thursday game was going to be P-47, the Freedom Fighter. We will get to that one, but I think I'm going to push it back a while because I just found out that tomorrow's Arcade Archives release is going to be Kangaroo, which was an arcade game by it was released by Atari in the US, and in Japan it was released by Sunsoft. Oh my gosh, am I a fan of that game. So that's going to have to be our Throwback Thursday game for next week. If you've never played it, it's very reminiscent of Donkey Kong, except you control a mother kangaroo who's trying to get her Joey back from a gang of monkeys. The monkeys throw apples, but it turns out the mama kangaroo ain't just any mama kangaroo. She's a boxing kangaroo. So not only do you climb ladders and whatnot, you can punch those monkeys to kingdom come. Such a fun game. And I'm really looking forward to streaming that one. Try to catch your stream tomorrow, and for sure I'll catch your streams this weekend. Sounds great. I really appreciate your being here. It really means a lot to me. Have a great day, and thanks again for coming. Dude, get over here. We need to heal. Moonwatcher. Can you go back to where you were, dude? Good. So now we can just stand here and get those... Okay, thank you. Thank goodness he's just stuck in that little boxed-in area. So we're safe waiting here while we heal back up. So then tomorrow, I've got an announcement to make regarding Fisticuffs Friday going forward. This week's Fisticuffs Friday game is going to be the arcade version of Double Dragon. And then the week following, it's going to be Double Dragon 2, obviously. But after that, I've determined what games we'll be playing on Fisticuffs Friday after that. Here's a hint. We're going back to one-on-one fighters for a while after we get done with Double Dragon. Because, like I've said before, Fisticuffs Friday isn't just about fighters, and it's not just about beat-em-ups. You can have either or on Fisticuffs Friday. The next 2 weeks are going to be beat-em-ups, and then after that, we're going back to fighters for a while. So, plenty of fun stuff to be enjoyed going forward here in this channel. And once we get rid of Moonwatcher, we'll be able to explore yet another area that we haven't gotten to yet. Catch your Friday stream. Sounds great. I really appreciate it. Alright. Eat this, Moonwatcher. And your little kids, too. I don't think he's got too much left in the tank. There we go. And we're up to level 12. But it looks like we still haven't gotten Beast King's Heir, or whatever it's called. Let's see. Okay, gotta go take care of Mr. Thunderfist. You too, Marty. Thank you again for coming. And we just got a trophy called Swordsman Extraordinaire. Probably for Adolf killing a crap ton of creatures. I'm guessing there's a trophy like that for everybody, and oh dear. Okay, wait a minute. Looks like... No, looks like we're gonna have to do something about the about those rocks before we can get to that chest. May have to either have a certain character in our party, either that or a marrow flower. Never seen that item before. I guess we'll find out later what it does. Let's see. Well, it looks like we can't... Oh, wait a minute. Looks like there's no pathway up here. I was thinking maybe there would be. Looks like all that's left to do is get that chest, but we ain't gonna get through there at this point. Yeah, that's what I thought. So, where else can we go? The only way I see is to go up here, possibly. At this point, it is all about finding a... At least we've leveled up quite a bit in the meantime. Cracked shells. Okay, there's nothing out of there. Or I should say there's nothing there currently. Oh, okay, I got you. I see now how the color system works. Let's see. Oh, hello, another moon watcher. It's one of the best things we ever did was get that flame element. Oh dear. Okay. So we're gonna need to fall back for a little bit. Oh no. Okay, we're gonna need to go back to that statue and revive Adol. Haha, missed me! Let's see. Oh. No, you don't, dude. Let's... Wait a minute. Looks like we just got our EX skill back leveled again. But I want to get Adol recovered first. There we go. Alright, let's tear him up. Especially Moonwatcher over here. Here we go. And he's already taking... I think he's taking flame... Okay, now he's taking flame damage. He's not poisoned yet. I thought he was. He will be in a second. There we go. Taking flame damage again. Somebody's poisoned. I think it was one of those other apes. Alright, go back and heal. Now that we can deal flame damage, the battle with Moon Watchers here. Oh my gosh. They go considerably quicker than they used to. Uh-oh. Time to heal up. I don't think so. Cool. Let's see. So we're gonna beat this thing. Nice. And Duran has leveled up. All right, dude. And we are saving. We may not have progressed very much on the map, but heck. Wait a minute. Oh, okay. I thought that said easy. I was like, wait a minute. I chose normal. But no, it was saying Forest of Dawn East. So instead of what I thought said easy, actually said east. Let's see. If we go north from here... that's probably the most likely place where we can progress. We know going through the cave isn't going to do us any good. Nice. Alright, if you want to fight that thing, have fun. Nice! Let's see here. Where have we... wait a minute. Okay, I think we... I guess we have actually gotten to that one before. Okay, wait. Alright, cool. So there's the waterfall cave over here, but no, it doesn't look like there's anywhere else to go. We want to get someplace we haven't been yet. Our best bet is to go over to the west. Iron ore and silver ore. See, I'm going to check all the different mining zones. Just make sure we've mined them all. I think we have. Okay. Yeah. So far, we've gotten every item that we can get from mining. So we want to come around here and then keep going to the east. Okay. Okay, so we've mapped 21% so far. Which means we haven't made a whole lot of progress tonight. I mean, we got just over 20% by the time last night was done. But now it looks like we're stonewalled in a few areas for the time being. Oh, whatever's in there, gimme. Holy guacamole. Adol's already up to 400 hit points maximum. That is awesome. I wonder what we're gonna get when he gets that memory back that's up there. So now we're in the wetlands. Okay, going to the west. Well, looks like we got a couple of choices we can go to explore places we haven't been to before. We'll go up here first. Oh. Okay. So we can't get to that chest yet, since it's submerged and we have no way of going underwater yet. But we'll figure that out as we go. We will figure that out as we go. Nice. And it looks like there is a path up that way. I guess we'll go ahead and go up there. See, we'll want to rest at some point to get his hit points back. Cool. Nice. So, you know, now that I look at it, there's really nothing to get over here. I mean, we could kill more stuff, but kill more monsters, but it looks like the best way for us to go right now is to go back south and head to the west this time. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Looks like we've been to the west a little bit, but not much. Oh yeah. There's bits of the map already becoming available to us. So it Looks like he got iron ore and silver ore out of that. Okay, so we can go that way. Iron ore, silver ore. Alright, time to heal up. And then before too long, we'll go over and pick that memory up. But right now, we want to get him healed from being poisoned. He's yawning. We'll let him get all his hit points back. I mean, sure, we tend to use add-all more, but still. Common sense tells you you're much better off when both characters are at their full strength. Iron ore and cracked shell. Snake amulet. Let's see what that does. Excuse me. Prevents poison. Yeah, we'll let Durin have that. So we're good to go here. But I don't want to go. I don't want to go to the north here, if we even can, until we get that next memory, which it looks like it's just off to the west. And get that. Okay, I thought we had all that filled in. Let's see, rotting fruit, rotting leaf. Ah, there's a memory. How long has it been since I arrived here? Looking inside the forest, there was a familiar statue at the side of the path. Adol realized he had been this way already. How can I escape from this overgrown forest? Base defense is increased by 1. Okay. Nice. You can't poison him. He's got the freaking snake amulet. Okay, so we've got all the materials we can get in those areas for the time being. Well, we've got at least one of every different material you can get from every mining site at this point. Let's see. And now Adol is poisoned. Alright. Let's stand here and heal. Shouldn't be long before Adol heals. Cool. So going up that way. That's where we'll go next. So first, we've got some mining to do. And we got coal and we got iron ore. Cool! Leveled up. And we got us a honey potion. So we've got 2 ways we can go. Let's go to the north first. And we got another honey potion. Oh, wow! Fortress of Dawn, Sunlit Ruins. We got damaged lumber. We got antidote powder. Please. So there is another mining site. Thunder Beast Charm. What does that do, I wonder? It sounds pretty useful. Whatever it does, Durin will have to be the one who equips it. Prevents paralysis. Sturdy lumber. Got coal and silver ore. This is interesting. Let's see. Okay, yeah. We've gotten to that one already. Yeah, we got to that one already. Yeah. So there is one more material that we could mine here that we didn't get our hands on. But it's going to be a while before any of that grows back. So we might as well just venture into unexplored territory. We'll come back later. and hopefully get what we didn't find the first time. Nice. Yeah, it looks like he got everything he can get from there. 23.4%. That's what we've got mapped so far. Okay, yeah, I wanted to go back down and just make certain, without a shadow of a doubt, thank you. Rotting fruit, rotting leaf. Coal. So we got strange mass out of there, but it looks like there's something else that we can get from there. Two to heal up. Looks like we just fought something new there. A couple of somethings new. Thank goodness we spent all that time leveling up. Steel Gauntlet +2. Let's see how that compares to what he's already got equipped. One poison, two freeze. Ah, we'll keep him with what he's got. He's got a +1 to general attack. And I like having a bonus like that. Oh, Lord. Man. So this isn't going away anytime soon. Like for Adol that go ahead and heal, but looks like he can't even sheath his sword at this point. Man, this really sucks. In the meantime, okay, we're at 24.7. We're almost a quarter of the way to mapping this forest. That's awesome. Alright, Adol. Let's see if we can get you to a statue or something. I know it's going to be a while before we get to one. At least we're still able to use skills while paralysis is up. That's good news. Looks like he's having muscle. Oh, okay, cool. Looks like he was having muscle spasms there. So we'll go ahead and let him heal up. So I said last night I thought perhaps there would be a skin to let Adol get his to let Adol's sprite have the armor that he's known for wearing. It doesn't look like that's the case. Wait a minute. Alright. They are down. Let's see. Shard. Canelin. Interesting names for some of these monsters. Let's see, we can... It looks like we want to go to the south from here. Okay. Wilted flower, rotting leaf. Got everything we can get from there. Oh. Cool. And let's sit and heal for a little bit. Okay, so where... Okay, there's where we need to go to that other mining material. We've still got one more to get in the Forest of Dawn Sunlit Ruins.
I can't wait to see what lies ahead.
Yeah, me either at all, but ain't gonna do you any good if you're incapacitated. As in permanently incapacitated. Oh, hello! I was hoping we'd come across one of these. Okay. Wait a minute. Maybe that area was blocked off by rocks or something, the area that I was looking at. Well, folks, we've got a quarter of the map completed. But we're just getting started, I reckon. We're certainly not going to get another reward until we get up to 30% of the map. But we're closing in on that. We are closing in on that. Let's go around here. I mean, we've only fought one boss so far. I mean, there's gotta be a bunch more. Man, it looks like we can mine from this flower here. Wilted flower, rotting leaf. And we got 5 iron ore out of that chest. So we can go up this way, and that will take us towards the large tree. Now, what if we go this way? A chest. Anti-paralysis flower. And we cannot swim any further that way. And that one's taking flame damage. Ow, quit it. Might as well continue following the river until we've swum completely through it. Oh, Lord. Adol's paralyzed again. Standing still is not going to do us any good. Looks like he's going to have to keep moving in order to eventually... overcome it. At least it does naturally wear off after a while. This would be so annoying if it never wore off. Except for using an item. Uh-oh. Okay. Let's go to the statue. There we go. Good. Okay, so... Whoa, wait a minute. It's like our best bet is trying to get up on that shore. If that's even possible. No, looks like we'll have to activate that bridge before we can do that. Nice. And we have inflicted poison damage. Let's see, we got that one already. Really? Oh my gosh. Cool. Jeez, Adol. Alright, cool. Let's see, coal and strange mass. 26.9%. Alright, cool. Did not want to use that there, but desperate times call for desperate measures. Wow. Look at everything we just picked up. Cool. Okay. Rotting fruit, rotting leaf. Wow. And it looks like we can't get over there for the time being. About time he recovered. My lord. Alright. Let's heal up. Okay, let's sit here and heal the hit points that we lost. Duran's gonna heal up completely before we will, but watch how fast those hit points are gonna come back now. Alright. Okay. I want to basically make sure there's absolutely no way to get over there right now. Yeah, we'd have to actually get up there to get to that. And it looks like we have to mend the bridge before we can get over there. Which I do not appear to be able to do at this time. Cool. Excuse me. Cool. .3%. Flame and poison. Okay, let's chill and let those wounds heal. Alright, let's move it. Looks like there's only one way we can go. It's really worth much of anything at this point. There we go. Misty Peak. Now this is one of the areas we were warned about. I managed to follow the trail of some explorers up to this point, but I'm now completely lost. I have to make sure to keep tailing them, since they're my only hope of getting out of here. Oh, Lord. Hey, aren't those two? Listen, Pigeon. Who do you think you're talking to? Who? You, of course. There's no one else here. No. Oh, looks like I got him backwards, folks. Listen, Pigeon. Who do you think you're talking to? Why, you, of course. There's no one else here. That's not what I mean. I'm the genius explorer, Rabbit Longears. You're far too young and naive to be finding fault in my master plan. Since when were you a genius explorer? And what master plan? You're just going off of instinct. And how many times have you been saved by that brilliant instinct? Don't you dare tell me you've forgotten about that. About as many times it's got us into trouble, if not far fewer. We really need to try to find some kind of pattern here if we ever hope to get out alive. The paths that lead farther in must all have some common factor to them. If we can just figure out what that is. Cheeky! Cheeky! You are so super duper cheeky! And you're an idiot! Idiot, idiot, idiot! Idiot! This is getting us nowhere. I guess they're explorers. They must be more skilled than they look to make it this far into the forest. But I get the feeling we should keep our distance. They don't seem like the type we want to get mixed up with. Yeah, speak for yourself, Durin. I'm gonna go talk to him. But like I said, we don't have the time to be sitting around thinking. Idiot, idiot, idiot. We've been going around in circles for ages now. Can we just stop and think about this for a minute? I'm sure there's got to be some way to work out the right path. Oh, hello. First time we found one of them. Let's see, what are those? At least I thought that was the first time we'd come across those. Looks like it may not be the first time. I managed to follow the trail of some explorers up to this point, but I'm now completely lost. I have to make sure to keep tailing them, since they're my only hope of getting out of here. Okay. There he is. I don't know if we tried that path. There he is. Okay, there they are. Coal and strange mass. Nice! Our EX skill is now built up. Okay, there he is. I think we went over this way to, this looks kind of new. I say that and look where I end up. Oh. Yeah, give me some of that. Okay, now. Yeah, look where we ended up. My gosh. Huh. So we go to the right here. Go to the right here. Lower left. Lower left, I think, just leads us right back to, so we need either the upper right or the lower right. I think the lower right looked to be the right path. Well, obviously not. Let's try the upper right this time. Oh my gosh! Lord have mercy. All right. So the lower left may be where we wanted to go. Nope. Scratch that. Back again. Those two are just as lost as I am. What to do? Should I stop following them? But if I do that, I'll be admitting defeat. Plus, I'll be stuck here. Shut up! If I say we're going left, we're going left. Rabbit, we need to go right here. I finally figured out the solution. We just have to keep heading downhill. Okay, let's try that. Okay, so there's a downhill path. We will try that. Then we talk to them again. So that path leads uphill. That looks like it goes downhill. And that goes uphill. We don't want to go that way. We want to go this way. Okay, that's uphill. We don't want to go that way. That looks like it's actually the right way to go about it. Because if you notice, there seems to only be one path in each direction that leads downhill. Cool. And would you look at that? We found that statue again. And this time the guy's not around it. Ooh! How you doing? Everything's going great. Welcome to the stream. We don't want to go that way. We want to keep going downhill. The presence of beasts can no longer be felt in the surrounding area. The air is still and tranquil. And look what we found! Another camp to set up. So we're playing E's Memories of Celceta tonight. This is my first time playing it, and I'm really digging this game. Enveloped in the clear air of the forest and the fragrance of the spirit tree, Adolf felt his body drift into a deep, relaxing slumber. One of the memories sealed in the back of Adolf's mind was restored. It is said that the Spartans, which live in this area, originally came from the primeval lands. I've never seen this game, but it reminds of the Tales of series, the JRPG game series. Well, I I haven't really played the Tales games much. Should do something about that sometime. I own most of them. But Namco made those, whereas this series was made by a company called Nihon Falcom. And the series is almost as old as The Legend of Zelda. The first Ys game came out the year after the first Zelda game was released in Japan. And this game actually replaces the fourth game in the series canon. It's kind of an odd story about the fourth game, but it originally came out in the early 90s. I'm wanting to say about 92 or 93. And there were two Ys 4 games, one for the Super Famicom and one for the PC Engine. But the games were very different, and they were made by different companies. I think Hudson made the one for the PC Engine, whereas a company called Tonkin House made the Super Famicom version. I tend to think the Super Famicom version was probably meant to be the canon game, because when Ys 5 came out, it was released exclusively for the Super Famicom. But see, Nihon Falcom didn't make either one of them. And then in 2012, they decided, you know what? We're going to release our own game to replace Ys 4, and this was the end result. This is the PS4 port, but I believe it should be the exact same as the Vita port. The Spartas are sacred beasts bestowed upon this world by God. There are some who say God resides in the primeval lands even now. But since no one can get there, no one really knows. We're not sure who that is either. So basically what's happened here is... Before I read that, basically the story of this game is that Adol here, he's the guy with the red hair who's pretty much the star of the series. Okay, that sounds awesome. I am interested in this series now. I didn't know that it was almost as far back as Zelda. Oh, yeah. Okay, so the first two games, they've gotten a lot of re-releases. I think Steam is one of the many places you can get it. But it also got released for the DS, the PSP, and several other platforms. But the first platforms it was released for were the original Famicom, the Master System, and the TurboGrafx. Now, when you get it for the TurboGrafx, it has the first two games bundled together. And most times when you find the first two games, they are bundled together. I think the only times they were ever really split up were on the Famicom and the Master System. But then Ys 3 came out, which was originally called Wanderers from Ys. It's now called Oath in Felghana. And this game actually takes place between the second game and the third game, so it's kind of an interquel. But here in the U.S., it's a little lesser known than it is in Japan. The first game that really got really wide release in the U.S. was Ys 3, which came out for the TurboGrafx, the SNES, and the Genesis. I got the SNES version in 1994, and that was actually the SNES version of Ys 3 was the first one I ever played. But then after that, none of the games got released in the U.S., like Ys 4 and 5 didn't get released here. The next one that got released was the sixth game, which was called Ark of Nepishtim, which came out in 2005. It came out first for the PS2, and then it came out for the PSP. You know, they're pretty much the same game, but their content is different. Like, I think the PSP version has more content to it as far as stuff you can unlock when you beat the game. But the PS2 version has voiceover for every single character in the game, which the PSP has very limited dialogue. And then Ys 7 was originally released for the PSP, and then this one came out and replaced Ys 4, and then 2 years ago, Ys 8 came out. And then there's also a game called East Origin, which is a prequel to everything. Takes place like 1,000 years, I think, before Adol's even born, although he is unlockable in that game. So there's 9 total games in the series canon. So if you're interested in this series, there's plenty of fun to be had, plenty of games to be played. Okay. Looks like you remembered something else. What was it this time? I was riding a beast on the river. Riding a beast? Wow! Well, if you were able to ride it, that means it was tame, right? So somebody's got to be there to have tamed it. Can't help but think of all those big, scary beasts we keep running into, though. By the way, we should be almost there by now. Let's keep moving. Memory fragments in the surrounding area are now visible on the map. So basically, the story behind this game is that Adol made his way to, what's the town's name? Casnon. And he made his way into this forest. And this forest is kind of a magical place, it seems. Like, whenever somebody wanders into the forest, they lose all sense of direction. And pretty much, they lose all sense of direction. They lose all sense of time. They basically wander around and are pretty much never seen again. There's very few people that have come out of the forest. Adol's one of the ones who made it out. But in the process, he lost all of his memories. So that's why there's memory fragments coming up and why he remembered something while he was staying in that tent. So, and when he gets there, the Governor General, I think is what she was called. She decides she wants this forest mapped, and she puts out a prize for anybody who can map the entire forest. And Adol decides to go back in there, not only to map the whole forest and hopefully get the reward, but he's also trying to get his memory back in the process. So there's a dual objective for him. I love this series. It's a shame more people don't know about it. Oh Lord, really? I was about ready to say. Actually, I do want to go back there. But we'll do that at a later time. It's because I want... there are different materials that you can get from mining places, and there's one I didn't find there. But we'll check it out at a later time. Right now, we've got more area to explore. I am totally an explorer type when it comes to games like this. Oh, hello. Okay, you see how it tells the materials we got out of there? That lets you know which ones you found and what materials you've gotten. If you see dashed lines, it means you can get something there, but you haven't gotten it yet. And the game is kind enough to let you know what percentage you've explored. And any treasure chests that pop up in or near the places you've been show up on the map along with memory fragments. Okay. So we got coal, but there's something else to be gotten there. Unfortunately, it's going to take a while for that to grow back. So we might as well just venture forward while we're waiting for it. Oh, hello. Okay, so we're at the Algon River Basin. Oh, good gosh. I'm not sure if we fought those things before. Something tells me we have, but don't recognize them 100%. Oh, give me that. Looks like all we got was iron ore, so there's something else there we can get. So there's incentive to come back here and at least get those materials. Some materials can be used to refine weapons and armor. Other materials, you trade them in for better stuff that you can use for that purpose. And it's not going to let us free fall down there. Darn it. I say darn it semi-sarcastically. Because it would be fun to see what's down there. Assuming it could be survived, which I guess the game's implying it can't be. And it looks like Durin is... He just mined that whole thing, and looks like he got both the materials available from it. Let's see, yeah. So there's no different types of materials that can be gotten there. Really, dude? You really want to do that? You got a death wish that bad, huh? I'm surprised we haven't fought any more bosses yet. We've only fought one boss so far. And we've mapped out almost a third of the forest. Once we hit 30%, we can go back to the town, and the Governor General will give us our next portion of the reward. The reward's in installments, and she gives you a portion of it every 10% you map out. Ooh! 20 green stones! We can make emeralds out of those. So there's a ruin we can go in. Do we go in now or not? Yeah, why not? Let's stand out here and recuperate first, and then we'll save just in case we're going in over our heads here. See, this is an important thing to remember. If you stand still and you're in an outdoor area, your hit points will gradually come back. Now, if you're in a dungeon, then that doesn't happen. And I apologize for this here. Whenever you save in this game, it automatically cuts any stream feed out. All you can do is talk through the microphone. It won't show the video until it's finished saving. Whoa! We're now at 30% of the map. Let's see, so there's nothing over here. What about over here? I would have assumed there would be a boss here. I'm surprised there are... Wait a minute. I bet if that water level were to rise, we would find something, something important there. And, of course, there's nothing to mine in that. So there's no chest that we can see immediately. Okay, yeah, we're 30% even. We will come back here later. I have a feeling that in due time, that place is going to be an important place to venture to. But in the meantime, we'll go ahead and mine there. Okay, so... 2 more. And Adol has leveled up. Very nice. Good gosh! The flame damage we're dealing, that's a result of a refinement that I put on our sword. Basically, this sword does additional base damage, but it can also inflict fire and poison damage. I forget whether it can do anything else. I don't think so. Well, that thing's stingy. We still got nothing but coal out of it. Or not. We got iron ore. I do believe that's the other item we could get from there. Good. It's not necessarily important that we mine that anymore. I mean, we could always get more items, but at least we've chronicled everything that can be gotten there. Rotted leaf, wilted flower. Okay. I think there's another path here. If so, it's time to take it. Well, I don't know. Maybe there's not. Okay, wait a minute. Yeah, we need to go up here now. It is time to go up here. Really, dude? You're gonna regret that. Next time we come to one of those statues, I think we'll head back to town and get the next portion of the reward. Speaking of which, look what just popped up on the map. Okay, we've got... Actually, before we do that, I want to at least try to get that memory right there. But first, let's go ahead and save. And here we go. Oh, another town! Very cool. This place is even more amazing up close than it was from the plateau. Never would have imagined people actually lived in the Great Forest. Seems like they're using the river as a natural sort of protection against monsters. People sure can adapt to any fashion, huh? Hey, you two. Don't just stand there, you'll lure the monsters. Come into the village where it's safe. Wait, you're... Oh, this is not good. I bet I know what he's talking about. Uh-oh. I don't like where this is going. Hey, you with the red hair. You've got some nerve showing your face here again. It's your fault we can't fish anymore. Don't you dare think we'll let you get away with it either. This village could be on its last legs thanks to you.
Come on.
What? They don't seem too happy with you at all. What the hell did you do? I might have a very faint idea. Oh boy, give me a break. I bet that memory may reveal what exactly happened. But it looks like they're locked up. How many times do I have to tell you he doesn't remember anything? Can you prove that? Well, no, but then this conversation is over. You're gonna get me in trouble if you keep yammering on, so stay in there and shut up. Come on, Adol. This is your doing, apparently. Say something, damn it! What did I do exactly? Stop playing innocent. No one from this village would do such a thing, so it has to be you. Such a thing being? Don't play dumb. You know exactly what you did. You poisoned the river.
No way.
What the? That's terrible. And not just once, but many times over. Each time killing more and more fish. I see. Naturally, Adol is the #1 suspect, being the only outsider you've seen. Ever, I guess? I think I get where you're coming from. Especially if Adol is the only outsider you've ever had visit your village before. But did anyone actually see him poison the water? This whole village's survival depends on our ability to fish. Everyone here knows that. So why would any of us ever do such a horrible thing? Okay, calm down. Sheesh. You checked the whole area thoroughly, right? Of course we did. We went out on the Spartas and searched every last bend. What's a Sparta? They're the sacred beasts that we raise in this village. We can't fish without them. But enough with the chatter. For the last time, be quiet. I don't have to explain any of this to you. Until we figured out what to do with you, you will remain here and you will remain silent. Sacred beasts, huh? You remember anything about them at all? Adol had a slight headache and was feeling mildly dizzy. And we just got a trophy called Proof of Life. Okay, so that's not the memory I was thinking was there. But there is a memory in here. What is it going to show us, I wonder? When I heard of someone crossing the forest, I had expected a well-built adult warrior. I had not expected a delicately built young man, younger even than I. Regardless.
I honor the skill and courage you've displayed by crossing the territory of the beasts.
Okay, cool. There is some voiceover in this, but not a whole lot.
My name is Ozma. My tribe is responsible for rearing the sacred beasts known as Spardas, and I currently serve as Selray's leader.
Let's see. I want to know more about the Spartas. You seem to be a very inquisitive person. I can see why the fishermen were coerced into bringing you here. Is everyone from the outside like that? Since you are here, if you wish to know more about life in this village, I will gladly tell you of the sacred beasts. We keep the Spartas in the building to the west of here. Come with me and I will show them to you. Okay, this is cool. Not that this has given us any map, mind you, but... I don't suppose... Okay, looks like you go outside either way. That's cool. Did you not want to see the Spartas? They are kept in the western building. Let's go before it gets dark. So we go this way. Not sure if I've seen something like them in a previous game or not, but part of me thinks I may have. This is the building where we raised the Spartas. The livelihoods of everyone in this village are sustained by fishing. However, the rapids swirl perilously, and the river has many different depths along its course. Given those conditions, can you imagine what it would be like to fish on a boat? The boat would be smashed to pieces. Not quite, but you would be swept along with the current and pulled toward the center of the forest. You have a distant look in your eyes. Is everything all right? At any rate, this is why the Spartas are useful here, as they can freely swim in the rapids. The fishermen of Celray fish while riding these creatures. Without the Spartas, we would not be able to survive in this environment. They are the beasts granted to us through divine providence to enable our survival. Thus, we call them sacred beasts. But I must be boring you with this endless history. Why talk about them when they're right here to be met? Take a closer look. Their limbs and tail allow them to swim freely through even the most turbulent of rapids. And the protuberances along their belly, particularly on the head, provide the ideal body for treading water at high speeds. Those blades on their head, in fact, are the origin of the name Sparta, which is an old term for the edge of a sword. Okay, looks like he's just going to repeat what he said. This building is the only place in Celray where the Spartas are raised. The reason for this is that I am forbidden from telling the other villagers how to rear and care for them. Why? Because that is the law of my tribe, and I am now the last remaining member of that tribe. That's really sad. While they are technically beasts, Spartas are docile and intelligent. They obey the orders of the villagers with little resistance and rarely act violently. We attach saddles and stirrups to them so the fishermen can climb on top. Look at that baby. That is an infant Sparta. Was it born here? No. No Sparta has ever been born here. Spartas originate from upstream. We bring them here when they are infants and raise them in this village. So, has your curiosity about the Spartas been sated now? It is late. I think that is enough for one day. I want to ride one. I have no objections to that. It is unique to suggest something like that without a second thought. You will likely feel sick at first, though I somehow doubt that will discourage you. Man, this is cool. These games always had great stories to them. I had no idea you would be such a natural at this at all. But I feel I should probably warn you of one thing. Take a look at the opposite shore. The currents become significantly faster as one approaches. Even on a Sparta, it is not possible to cross the river completely. I would urge you not to get too close. What's over there? No one knows. No one has ever been able to cross the river safely to find out. We refer to the area on the opposite shore as the Primeval Lands. It is said that the Spartas which now live here originated from those lands. The Spartas are sacred beasts bestowed upon this world by God. Some believe God resides in the primeval lands even now, but since we are unable to confirm, none can say with certainty. So he met the... and we got +1 to our base defense. So you met some guy called Ozma here. Well, you really don't seem like the river poisoning type to me. But it's totally possible you let yourself get dragged into something and wound up unwittingly taking part in this mess. Either way, it looks like we need to meet this Ozma person and see what he has to say. Adol knocked on the door. Again? What is it this time? I want to see Ozma. Are you for real? Do you honestly not understand your position right now? Ozma's in the middle of a meeting wherein he will determine what's to be done with you. And even if that weren't the case, he's an essential figure in our village, a brilliant leader, particularly considering his age. We would never allow him to meet with the likes of you. What? What are you... That's really not a good idea. What's happening out there? We meet again, Adol. I have been informed of the situation.
No way.
So you were worried about Adol and came to see him, huh? That'd be an awful big help right now. So you're going to convince everyone that Adol here doesn't remember anything and didn't do anything wrong, right? Adol, is this man your friend? He's a great friend. Really? You ought to choose your friends more carefully then. Oh, I love the humor in this game too. Even if most of it is kind of stoic humor, it's great. Hey, what the hell, man? I'm right here. You said your name was Durin? You need to think your position through a bit more carefully. Let us assume that Adol did indeed lose his memories. How does that fact prove his innocence in this matter? Such reasoning will not persuade a soul, certainly not mine. Well, yeah, I can't really argue with that. Does this mean you suspect Adol too? I still am uncertain what to believe, so I came to speak with Adol directly. Adol, I have a proposal for you. If you are truly innocent of this crime, that would mean the real culprit must still be out there. If you can find the real culprit, then and only then will I trust your innocence. Will you agree to this arrangement? I will.
I see.
Very well. There is no time to waste then. I will tell the villagers to cooperate with your investigation. Investigation? What are we supposed to do exactly? Naturally, you will be allowed to walk around the village. I will accompany you to supervise your actions. That way, you will be able to conduct your investigation without worrying the villagers. Hey, works for me. But are you sure it's all right to lead around suspected criminals when you're the guy in charge? People might think you're on our side or something.
No.
I do not take sides. Proving a stranger's innocence or guilt is one of my duties as village leader, and the first step toward ending this. I do what is best for Selray. I can see why they look up to you here. Thank you, Ozma. think nothing of it. This is going to be interesting. As promised, I have explained the situation to all of the villagers, and I have asked them to cooperate with your investigation. So do speak your mind on any questions you may have. Kinda makes me nervous, seeing as we haven't proven our innocence yet. Okay, let's go see if we can find any clues. So it looks like we can't ask any questions at this point. Let's see. So he supposedly poisoned the river, but looks like they're able to swim in it just fine. The only one who should be okay in this situation, if it were poison, was Durin, because he can't be poisoned thanks to the relic we equipped him with. Let's see. Gazok said he used to live in the forest all on his own. But he said it was before I was born, so that's all I know. If we can't get any fish to eat, I'll have to... No, what am I thinking? What are you thinking? That's starting to worry me. Let's see. I'm gonna wait to go into any shops. Looks like Saryu's hard at work again today. But that damned Hakan keeps getting in my way, so I can't stare at her. Oh boy. You really don't look like the kind of person who'd poison a river. But I suppose I'll just have to wait and see how your investigation goes. Well, at least one person believes Adol's a good character. At least thinks he looks like he's a good character. The adults show Shay we're not allowed to play in the water for a while. I'm so bored. I'm sure you are. I heard you're trying to find the one who poisoned the river. I don't want to believe you did it, and Cecily doesn't either. So I hope you can find the real criminal. Oh, Adol. Good luck with your investigation. I refuse to believe anyone with whom Ozma developed such kinship could ever think of poisoning our river. So I believe in you, Adol. I know you didn't do it. Well, thanks for that. Now we just gotta find out who did. Ozma, you're wasting your time if you think they're going to be able to prove their innocence. That redhead there is the culprit. Nothing will change that. Do you have any evidence to back that claim, Rivarl? Fantasy Star 77, how's it going? I'm doing well, how about you? Welcome to the stream. We're playing Ys Memories of Celceta tonight. Do you have any evidence to back that claim, Rivarl? Of course. The poison came from upstream, right? And upstream is the dwelling of the Spartas. Oh, so the sacred beasts live upstream? Just a bit tired, but hanging in there. I really appreciate you stopping by tonight. And hope you get some good rest tonight. Rough day at work, eh? But how does that prove Adol's the culprit? Because no one from this village would dare go upstream and approach the sacred beast's dwelling. Not unless they were one of Ozma's tribesmen anyway. Okay. I like the game design on this too. The art style has that mid-2000s RPG style. Nah, early doctor's appointment. Oh man, I hope everything's okay. And yeah, this particular game actually came out in 2012, and it was originally ported to the Vita. Yes, this is a Vita port. Okay, basically the whole story behind this game, I'm not talking the story of the game itself, but like how the game came to be made, is there were the first four games in the series were all made for the TurboGrafx. Okay, routine visit, but it went well and got a few answers. Oh, okay. Well, I hope everything goes well for you, and that whatever's wrong gets fixed really soon. I'm sorry to hear you're not feeling well. So basically, the originally played the first East. The Master System, very nice. I was just talking earlier about how that was one of the systems the first game was ported on. Admittedly, the first game in this series I played was Wanderers from East for the SNES. So when East 4 originally came out, it was there was a game released for the Super Famicom, and then there was also one released for the PC Engine. But both of them were drastically different games, partly because different companies were behind both of them. The one for the SNES, Super Famicom, I have that one. And that one was made by Tonkin House. But then Hudson made a different one for the PC Engine, and they're very different games. Didn't this series originate on the MSX? It may have, but the first systems I can remember it being for were the TurboGrafx, the Master System, and the Famicom. But it may have been on the MSX too. But I know it originated in '87, which was the year after the first Zelda game was released in Japan. But yeah, so okay, that sounds great. But yeah, basically the whole thing with this game was when East 4 came out, the original company behind it, Nihon Falcom, didn't make either one of them. And in 2012, they decided, you know what? We're going to go ahead and make a game of our own to replace the fourth games in the series. So this game replaces the East 4 games and basically takes place between East 2 and East 3, which is the Oath and Felghana. So it's basically Ancient East Vanished, which is the first two games, then this one, and then Oath and Felghana as far as the series canon goes. It's hard to say which one was originally the canon East 4, but I think it was the Super Famicom one, because when East 5 came out, that's the only system it was released for, apparently. And that's still the only game that hasn't made it to the US. I'm hoping one day it does, because I think more people have taken attention to this series by now. Hopefully that will get Xseed wanting to port East 5 over here, so we can finally have the whole series accessible here in the US. Let's go on. Not unless they were one of Ozma's tribesmen anyway, but there's only one of those left, and it's Ozma himself. So the only one who could have gone upstream to poison the river from there would be an outsider, and those are in pretty short supply. Ozma could be the culprit too. You've got to be kidding. There's no way Ozma could be the culprit. What a ridiculous thing to say. The very notion is offensive. If you objectively analyze the evidence we have gathered, however, it is a perfectly valid theory. First one came out in '87 on something called PC 8801, then something called the X1 a few days later. MSX came out 6 months later. It's been on a lot, it seems. Yeah, it really has. So it went from those platforms to the Famicom to the Master System to the TurboGrafx. Then later the PS2 when Taito released the first 5 games on the PS2, which I've got to get those ports someday. Maybe they're remakes, but I'd still love to have them. And then later they ended up getting released on the Wii as part of the Virtual Console. The PC Engine or the TurboGrafx version was released on the Wii, and then got ported to the PSP and even the DS. And I think Steam too. So yeah, the first 2 games have really gotten around. Versailles 111, welcome to the stream. Great to have you. Yes, this is the PS4 version that I'm playing. I actually own the Vita port, but have never touched it. So this is a completely blind playthrough. Okay, if you objectively analyze the evidence we have gathered, however, it is a perfectly valid theory. Naturally, I was not responsible, but nor could I provide enough evidence to convince an impartial judge of my innocence. Well, don't worry, Ozma. I have other evidence that suggests he's the culprit. You were asking about the sacred beast's dwelling, you know. Yeah, he's like that. If there's something new and exciting to explore, he wants to explore it. It's in his nature. Say what you want, he still did it. Don't you have any shame at all? You could spare yourself a lot of embarrassment if you just confess. Falcom did Popful Mail as well, right? That sounds like it could have been them. I'm not 100% sure on that because I'm not really familiar with that game, although I have heard of it. I would like to get a copy of it sometime, but I know it's pretty pricey. I think the only U.S. release of that was on Sega CD. Yeah, I think so too. And to be honest with you, I think Working Designs handled the U.S. release of Popful Mail, because that sounds like a title Working Designs had a hand in. I own the. That's what I thought. I have the 2 Lunar games for the Sega CD, and I also have both of them for the original PlayStation, and I also have Magic Knight Rayearth for the Saturn. Hopefully, if the Polymega, which is going to be released in a few months, which hopefully will be released in a few months. Let me rephrase that, because it keeps getting pushed back. Hopefully, if it's able to stream natively, I'm hoping to stream some games like that. Working Designs gets a lot of hate for their I don't see why. I love what they did too. I'll tell you one of the things I really like about the games they released. If you notice, just about every game that comes over here from Japan gets some changes made to it. Working Designs is one of the few companies I've ever noticed, at least at the time they released the game, that was really open and told people what they changed. If you look at the booklets in some of their games, they'll say this was present in the Japanese version, but we changed it to this for this reason. Most companies don't do that, but Working Designs did, and I really appreciated that about them. One of my favorite changes that they made was to Magic Knight Rayearth on the Saturn. Hold on a second while I take a drink. But when that game came out on the Saturn, the 3 characters, Hikaru, Umi, and Fu, had journals. And in the original Japanese version, okay, makes me want to cry how Sega treated them at the end of the Saturn era. Yeah, it really is sad. Matter of fact, I think, I could be wrong on this, but I believe I've heard that Magic Knight Rayearth, I never got to play Magic Knight Rayearth. Man, that's a fun game. It's really expensive now too. But I got a copy of it back in 2000, and it's in storage somewhere. I'm hoping to goodness it hasn't suffered any disc rot yet. As soon as the Polymega comes out, I am so installing that game on it. But yeah, so Magic Knight Rayearth, among other features, had journals where you could read each of the girls' account of what's happening. But in the Japanese version, all three of the girls' graphics are beautiful. Oh yeah. So the journals in Magic Knight Rayearth, they were all written in the same font, if you will. Whereas when it got released in the U.S., they changed it to where each girl has different handwriting. So it gives you a more, probably one of the few people who preferred the Saturn over PS1. I've heard a lot of people that I know preferred that. Well, see, that's not the only change they made. Wait till you hear this. So, they mentioned how in the original version of Magic Knight Rayearth, every single character had voiceover. Much like Ark of Napishtim, which was the 6 East game, did on the PS2. Every character had voiceover. But, and for a time, in Magic Knight Rayearth, pretty much every character's got voiceover, but that stops early on in the game. And they decided to take all that space. My big thing with Saturn was the 2D fighting games. As long as you imported 2D fighters, PS1 couldn't compare. Yeah, I agree with that. Especially a lot of the Capcom and SNK fighters, which could load, could load faster and could be enhanced, I guess, by the memory upgrades. Which PS1 was stuck with what it had, but the Saturn could be upgraded. That's another great thing about it. So what I was getting at was that Working Designs limited the amount of voiceover in Magic Knight Rayearth, which meant they had a lot of disk space that they freed up. And they said they took that disk space and they put in voiceover where the girls were reading their journals. So, which that's something they didn't do in the Japanese version. They said, so rather than make the voiceovers a required thing that could slow the game down, we changed it to something optional that could add to the game. I thought that was a really interesting change. And plus, it gave me more chance, because I'm the kind of person that when I play an RPG or any kind of game that's got text that pops up on the screen but doesn't have voiceover, I like to do the voiceover myself. That's what really got me interested in voice acting. Okay, speaking of which, let's go on here. I've said all I had to say. I don't want to talk to you any longer. Go away and never return. Man, Adol, you don't seem to be popular around here. Or, you really don't seem to be popular around here. Guess you do stick your nose in everybody's business, though, so it's not really any surprise. The only thing that disappoints me about this port is that, yeah, voice acting is interesting. I kind of miss the bad voice acting of a lot of early CD games. Yeah. The game that really got me interested in voice acting was Final Fantasy IV, or what we know in the U.S., or what we knew in the U.S. when it first got released as Final Fantasy II. I remember renting that and reading the lines as if I was the characters speaking them, and I got thinking, you know what? This is fun. It's fun trying to come up with voices for these characters. And I got to thinking, it would be so much fun if I could do this for a living. Okay, so... I wonder. Okay, so... I guess that's not going to help us in the investigation. The big thing for me now is screenshots. I'm fascinated by taking them and looking at them. Oh, yeah! and just like finding little details in them that you might have missed as you were playing through the game because you were focused on the task at hand. I could see where that would be a lot of fun too. This frog seems afraid to go back into the river. Can't say I blame him. I mean, there's always a chance someone might poison it again. No, I'm gonna leave it alone. It makes me sad when great-looking games have no screenshot. Oh, I know what you're talking. I think I get what you're talking about now. Like when you, like for instance, when you get a trophy and the PS4 takes a screenshot of where you were in the game when the trophy got, when you got the trophy. I know some games have that disabled, like Yakuza does when you go toward the end. And I missed out on a screenshot on my Platinum trophy because of that in one of the Yakuza games. I mean, I love Yakuza to death. That's my current favorite series. It used to be Metal Gear Solid, but after a while, Konami just didn't care anymore, whereas Sega keeps getting it right year after year every time they put out a Yakuza game. And I'm hoping that series is going to go on for quite a while longer. Well, not only that, but something like, say, the new Grid game. You can only kind of do it during the replays. Oh, okay, that's interesting. I'm not familiar with that game. Might have to check it out sometime. The poison didn't make it this far down the river. As a result, the village's drinking water is safe for the time being. But I can't say with confidence that it will remain that way. If poison were to reach our drinking water, this village really would be finished. If you really aren't the culprit, hurry up and catch the real one, please. I'm working on it. I heard you're investigating the poisoning of the river. Well, try not to cause too much trouble while you're doing it. Especially you with the red hair. Most people here still suspect you, myself included. So if you so much as look at one of us funny, we're not going to show you any mercy. You got that? Yeah, I got it all right. Okay, we've already been there. Is there anyone to talk to over here? Okay, yeah, this is where we were locked up earlier, so there's nobody to talk to here. Maybe it's time to go into the shops and talk to some people. I think we've been here already. Well, I guess not. You intend to find the real culprit? Well, investigate for as long as you like. But if you can't find another culprit, you had best be prepared for the consequences. Alright, fair enough. I thought it would be funny to do a gallery of toilets from games on my Facebook. A lot of my friends think it's hilarious, and that does sound fun. That does sound pretty fun. It's so boring when we can't go out and fish. All you do is grumble about not being able to go fishing. If you've got time to grumble, spend it sorting out what I'm going to eat instead. Or maybe I got them mixed up. I would if I could, but what am I supposed to do? How long has it been since the poison first appeared in the river anyway? Oh, it's you. I'm gonna try voicing him the other way, because that may be more natural. Oh, it's you. I see you're investigating the poisoning with Ozma. Yep, looks like I was getting him backwards. Well, go on, Reina. No. It looks like I had it right the first time. Well, go on, Reina. I'll answer the question. Right. I'm surprised to see how many communities have popped up for screenshots. I've never heard of those, but might have to check some out sometime. Be interesting to see what people have come up with. The poison first appeared in the river about 10 days ago, I think. 10 days? Quite a while ago, then. Is that all you have to say? What? You're missing the most important detail. It happened immediately after this redhead swordsman here left the village. But... Really? And he disappeared without telling anyone where he was going, or even telling anyone that he was leaving. How could we not suspect him? There's a mountain of evidence implicating him in this. There's a lot of PS4, but the groups on Xbox seem to be a lot better. Something about PS4 groups seem off. I hope they rework the groups on PS5. Yeah, that would be cool. You know, getting on the subject of PS5, I'm really hoping they announced when they're going to be handling pre-orders soon, because the system's supposed to come out during the holiday season, and I had a plan on how I was going to pay for mine, or at least pay for the pre-order. You might have noticed I was drinking Mountain Dew earlier, and this year they were doing something called Dew-Nited States, where all the bottles were decorated. Well, most of the bottles were decorated with labels for the 50 states. I think they're holding off until Microsoft tells a price first. And a lot of people are speculating that's probably going to be around $500. To be honest, it's going to be really interesting if Microsoft undercuts Sony, because Microsoft does have the more powerful console if you look at the specs. Mentioned the Mountain Dew thing the other night. Okay, yeah. The way this worked was underneath the bottle caps were codes, and you would enter in the code and scan the label. And every time, well, the first 5 times that you got all 50 state labels, you got a gift card for Mountain Dew with $100 on it. Well, I've got 3 of those gift cards that I haven't used, and I'm planning to use them to pre-order both the Xbox Series X and the PS5 with them. Unfortunately, I've only got 2 more months that I can use them, so I'm hoping that sometime within that, time period, they'll go ahead and open up the pre-orders so I can use those cards. I figure I'll put $200 down on the PS5, $100 down on the Xbox Series X. Surely to goodness, that should be enough to secure me a pre-order. Sort of reminds me of the Monopoly thing McDonald's does for some reason. Well, it's a little different in this case, because it's not, as far as collecting the labels, if you get all 50 of them, it's not a chance thing about you getting the gift card. If you get 50 labels, you're definitely getting one. And you can have up to 5 of them. I've already gotten all 5. And I'm just saving those 3 for pre-ordering the new consoles. And yeah, like you, I'm really hoping there's a lot of improvements made, especially when it comes to stream layouts. Okay, how can we not suspect him? There's a mountain of evidence implicating him in this. Gotta admit, I see your point. Still, the evidence against Adol is purely circumstantial. We cannot prove his guilt any more than his innocence. We must continue our investigation. I remember when I was a kid, another kid in my class had the boardwalk piece, and I had park. Dude! Wasn't there only like 2 boardwalk pieces in the entire U.S.? That's what I'd heard. My gosh! Everyone was trying to bribe him to give it up. Couldn't have paid me enough to give that up. Not unless you wanted to pay me the $1 million flat out. Then at least that person paying the $1 million would get their money back. I mean, sounds like a winner to me. Okay, we must continue our investigation. My memory is a bit hazy on it, but if I recall, he had no clue what he... Oh man, that would be such a shame. Duran. He yawns like that every now and then. Oh, get lost, poisoner. I'm not gonna help a baddie like you. Go away. This was, I think, in the mid or late 80s, so it was a long time ago. Are you sure it was the 80s? I don't remember them doing that until the 90s, but I certainly remember them doing it around 95. Huh. So this guy can sell us stuff. Excuse me. Let's see what exchanging we can... Man! We sure do have a lot of... Okay, let's see... We don't have any yellow stones. Let's see. I'll take three of them. I don't think it was then because I was in either 5th or 6th grade at the time. Ah, okay. So you don't think it was the 90s? I know around 95 I was just turning 17. That was one of the first years, if not the first year I remember it being done. Looks like Seiryu's hard at work again today. But that damned Hakan keeps getting in my way so I can't stare at her. Boy, oh boy. The blacksmiths in Celray allow you to reinforce weapons and armor using beast and plant materials, as well as other reinforced weapons and armor. Just did a quick search and it shows it started... Wow! I must have missed out totally on that. I would have been 9 years old back then. 4th grade, just about to go into 5th. No. 3rd grade, about to go into 4th. Let's see. A single beast or plant material can raise multiple statistics. E.g., a frog extract increases both poison and burning. Okay. Get out of my way. I'm busy. If you want to order anything, tell Seiryu. Okay, apparently he's not going to let us... Oh, okay. So she can handle the reinforcing and refining. We'll take a topaz. I was born in 76, so I was pretty young myself. Ah, okay. So let's see. Ruby. Oh, so we must have gotten a ruby already. It's the sapphire we don't have yet. And of course, those stones we haven't come across at all. We're thinking about. I feel your pain. I feel your pain. Believe me. Let's see. Reinforce. What will that do? Wow. Plus, time really flies the older you get. You could say that again. It seemed to pass along at like Impulse 1 speed, Star Trek terms, when we were kids, but nowadays it's warp speed, seems like. I often say, time doesn't fly, it uses a jetpack. Time truly is a rocketeer. Hitting 44 in a few weeks, and it feels like I was just a little kid a year or two ago. I know what you mean. Sometimes, I reflect a lot of times back on when I was about 8th grade or so. That's one of the main years I've been reflecting on these days. Let's see here. Huh. So we can actually, okay, that can give it some freezing properties. Let's give it 5. I mean, heck, we got money for days as it is. Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. The stuff like cool action figures like Transformers. Oh, yeah. You're speaking my language there. You know, speaking of Transformers, I got the pleasure of meeting Frank Welker at a Comic-Con last year. Super awesome guy. I told him straight to his face that if I talk to anybody about their favorite voice actors of all time, yeah, greatest Megatron ever, and Galvatron after the movie. Of course, most of us know Leonard Nimoy was the first voice of Galvatron in the movie, but after the movie, Frank Welker took over in that role. And I mean, Frank Welker's done so much over the years. I mean, he was Fred in the original Scooby-Doo. He's Scooby-Doo now. He was Dr. Claw in Inspector Gadget. And not only was he Megatron, he was also Soundwave, too. Remember the movie's being censored for the home release. I wonder if that's still the case on the DVD releases. I know they censor The Last Unicorn, too. The first time I sat down and watched The Last Unicorn was with a now ex-girlfriend of mine, and she told me there's one DVD release that she recommends, and it's the one that keeps the swearing intact. She was the one that brought to my attention the fact that the releases after that were censored. Ah, okay. So the only way you could hear all the swears was to have actually seen it in theaters, am I correct? But yeah, I told Frank Welker straight to his face that that if I ever get to talking about top voice actors and they don't list him in their top 3, I'm not paying them any attention. I don't know about more recent releases, but they censored Grimlock. Huh. I need to go back and watch that again sometime. It's been forever since I watched that last. Same with the G.I. Joe movie. When Grimlock attacked Unicron, he said, "Me, Grimlock, kick ass!" I'm just making a voice on the fly. I forget exactly what he sounds like. Let's see here. Hey, can I tickle you? I guess. Yay! Huh! I would have never guessed we'd get extra gauge back for that. That's interesting. I remember seeing it in theaters and being totally shocked with the swearing. You're always so sensitive. That was so much fun. Come and let me tickle you again sometime. Never imagined something like that would give us extra gauge back. You seem like a good person, so I really don't want to have to suspect you. Okay, now that's weird. Yeah, it kind of was. But I'm glad I took a gamble on it just to see what would happen. I know it was minor swearing, but at the time, it was a big thing to a kid. Oh, definitely. I'll tell you another one, too, was, I think the first time I played Final Fantasy VII, seeing all the swearing in that, like, really took me aback. I'm trying to think the first game I remember seeing swearing in. I think Mega Man 7 was one of the first ones. And then Mega Man X3. Now, here's something interesting about the Mega Man games. Like I said, Mega Man 7 and Mega Man X3, they both have a dam in them. In X7, it's when you're playing. I apologize for the spoiler if anybody hasn't played that. Epic movie though, and I'm not ashamed to say the Prime and Megatron fight brings a tear to my eye. Don't be ashamed of that. It's sad. It's sad when a character like Prime dies. Or is it the other way around? I think Megatron does end up killing Prime, and then he comes back later. It's been so long since I've watched that last. As soon as Prime transforms and the touch starts playing. Yeah, I've got a friend who turned me on to that song, and he was the one that told me Stan Bush, who also did a couple of songs in Bloodsport, which is just about my favorite martial arts movie ever. He plays Shadow Warrior reboot. I don't think so. When I hear the title Shadow Warrior, the first thing that comes to my mind is the Ninja Gaiden arcade game, because that's what it's called in Europe. But I'm sure you're talking about a different game altogether. You seem like a good person, so I really don't want to have to suspect you. But nothing like this has ever happened before, and we've never had a visitor from outside the forest. So it just seems the most plausible explanation. Please try to understand our perspective. Well, you need to. The first scene is your character in his car with the... Oh my gosh! I'm gonna have to now. If that song's in there, man, what a throwback. What a throwback to some great days. There's also a mini Grimlock looking figure on the dashboard. Wow! Oh my gosh. I'll tell you what, if I could have afforded it, I would have loved to have taken my Transformers Devastation game and gotten Frank Welker to sign it. Unfortunately, his autographs were $99, and I just didn't have it in my budget to splurge that much on an autograph. So I just got a photo op with him. So I do have a photo with Frank Welker. So I've got absolute proof that I met him. Would have been cool. Oh yeah. Yeah, that convention, they've always got some really good guests. Never pay for someone to write their name though. It depends for me. In most cases nowadays, I don't go so much for autographs. I like better to take pictures with them. Because that way, it's like, you can show somebody an autograph you got, and they can say, oh, you just bought that on the internet, or something like that. But you show them a picture you took with that person, there's no denying that. And plus, it's like, I can look at that picture and just picture in my mind what it was like actually meeting that person. Like, when I look at the picture I took with Chuck Norris, I can remember walking into the photo op booth and saying, hey, happy birthday, Chuck, and then shaking his hand for the picture. Because it was his 78th birthday when I met him. My dad got Roscoe from the original Dukes of Hazzard to take a picture and sign a poster. And he's passed away now. That's awesome that your dad got to meet him before he died. Hopefully the experience was everything he wanted it to be. Most celebrities that I've met are really cool, but some of them kind of left me with a sour taste in my mouth. Very few, but there are some stinkers out there. I think he wanted extra to take the pic, but my dad convinced him because he was a retired cop. Ah, yeah. See, normally when you go to a Comic-Con, they charge separately for an autograph and for a picture, but they'll usually offer a combo price for both of them. Like, for instance, there was somebody I met at a Comic-Con last year who was charging $40 a piece for either an autograph or a photo. which would mean it's 80 for both of them, but he would give you, he would do both for 60. So you got a $20 discount. This was back in 07. I barely recognized him. He was like 80 or so and really heavy. Wow. I didn't realize he lived to be that old, but that's awesome. I think it wasn't too long before Burt Reynolds died. He had made a Comic-Con appearance. I'm jealous of the people who got to meet him before he passed. That was such a loss. I have that. Hey, Shim, welcome. How's it going tonight? Let's see, I have that autograph of him on the poster hanging on my wall above my X-Men Genesis poster. That's awesome. That's quite a keepsake. I know it's celebrity worship, but it's odd meeting them. I'm doing well tonight. Still playing through Memories of Celceta. We've made a bit of progress, and now we're having an investigation because Adol's been accused of poisoning a town's river. And he's suspect number one because he's the only outsider they've ever had, so he's having to try to prove that it wasn't him that did it. Unfortunately, with his memories being wiped, he's having a little trouble, and he's having to actually talk to the people there to try to get their perspective on things. So it just seems the most plausible explanation. Please try to understand our perspective. I had to help Yakov Smirnov back in like 07 or 08 at the Kohl's I worked at. I probably should know that name, but it's not ringing a bell to me at the moment. That was odd because I used to watch him on TV as a kid. I bet that was still pretty cool though. Actually getting to meet him. You're looking for info on the river? Sorry, you'll have to look somewhere else. We know nothing of value to you. What do I know about the poison? Nothing. It was just there all of a sudden. I don't know what you're planning, but you should just give it up and confess already. Quests. Would you suggest me Celceta over East 8? I would suggest both of them, honestly.
Let us be going.
One of the big things I didn't really care for is you notice how Adol is wearing that red suit, and it's not the armor look that he's always had in most of the games. I found out there's no skin to change him back to the armor that he's so known for. At least East 8 does have that. But yeah, definitely playing both. I've played through East 8, loved it. And this game, this one's completely new to me. He was more famous in the 80s, a Russian comedian who did a lot of stand-up and TV shows. Okay, I need to look him up sometime and just see what all he's done. But yeah, I'll admit it, I'm one of those people that goes to Comic-Cons mainly for the celebrities. This year I was hoping to meet Barbara Eden, excuse me, among other people from I Dream of Jeannie. Unfortunately, the virus killed that con. It's like they ended up canceling it for the whole year, and so did the other one I was going to. The other one I was going to go to had Edward Furlong and Robert Patrick, who played John Connor in the T-1000 and Terminator 2, respectively. And I was really looking forward to seeing them because Terminator 2 is my favorite movie of all time. I've met the guy who played Kyle Reese in the first movie. Met Roscoe at an outdoor car show. Oh, you got to meet him too? That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'd have to say probably the two biggest name people I've met were Chuck Norris and Hulk Hogan. I met Hulk Hogan at a sports signing up near Chicago. Got to ride in the General. Only $10 for a ride in the General Lee? My gosh. Of course, I think back then, I don't think they were charging quite as much as they do today. I know back in 06, they had Rite Aid had a health and beauty expo in my area, and they had like 7 celebrities there, and nobody charged for autographs. May have been more, but I don't recall, but it was something like that. Today, I have no idea how much that would be today. You'd probably be looking in the triple digits at least for an experience like that. I know in order to get a picture with Christopher Lloyd at a Comic-Con with the DeLorean in the background, I think it costs about $100. Con man Jim Baker used to come into the store I worked at all the time. That's cool. I heard there was a famous wrestler. Thankfully, oh, you're not a fan. Wait a minute, you said con man. I guess you mean. Well, is he a celebrity, or is he just an unsavory individual who is known for not so good reasons? So I noticed you said con man, but I was thinking maybe he did something that made him famous. But it sounds like he was infamous from the way you described it. Okay, let's see who's up here. I don't think there's too many more people that we haven't talked to yet. Okay, we talked to her already. And I think we talked to whoever's in that other house, too. Oh, okay. Very famous televangelist who went to prison, but he got out, came to Branson, and is back to conning people. That's a shame, man. You know, to be in that line of work, you know, one would hope that person would be trustworthy. That's such a shame. If Billy Graham had a crusade in my area back in 2001. I didn't actually get to meet him, but I did actually get to sit in the stands and see him preach live. That was quite the experience. It seems to me like Billy Graham's just about the best public figure there was as far as people who got into evangelism. Oh yeah. It's and matter of fact, I've got one of his books, and I'm looking forward to sitting down and reading it. I know there's somebody at my church who actually got to meet him, and to be honest, I'm pretty jealous about that. But yeah, it's a shame that that some people like Jim Baker are out there potentially leading people astray. Let's see. So there's a couple of people we can talk to over here. No, I think we talked to them already. Is there anybody over here? This would be the only place where there's anybody we haven't talked to. Oh, Adol. It's great to see you. Didn't think you'd come back here. Who might you be? My name's Gazak. Wait, you're not serious, are you? You didn't forget me, did you? Actually, yeah, he forgot you for sure. Adol and Durin explained the situation to Gazak. You lost your memories? I see. That's terrible. Huh. You're a lot more understanding than the other villagers. Well, Adol and I became good friends when he last stopped by. I can't believe people suspect you'd poison the river. I know you never do such a thing. I wish there was something I could do to help. But I've spent so much of my time in the forest lately, I doubt anyone's going to believe any defense I could put together. In the forest? What were you doing there? One of Gazok's interests is exploring old ruins. Haha, yep. I lived in the forest all by my lonesome until a few decades ago. I got pretty used to it, really. They could hold a really cool conference here every year. I wish I could... I wish I could go to with people like Steve Quayle and L.A. Marzulli, if you know them. Those names aren't ringing a bell, but you've piqued my interest. Well, what are they known for? You're kidding! Man, you must be pretty tough to have survived in a place like that for so long. But of course! That's why people call me Gazok the Strong. Oh, but don't let me hold you up. Looks like you've got more important things to do than stand around and chit-chat. We apologize for taking up your time as well. Come on, let's get back to asking around. Basically covering the stuff that churches don't like talking about. Oh! Now that is something I'd like to hear. That sounds very interesting. Which there is plenty of that. Okay. Stuff like Nephilim, fallen angels, giants. That sounds very interesting. If they ever do something like that, I definitely want to go to that. Let's see, where have we not been? Who have we not talked to? Not too many more. Okay, there's nobody in there. Oh, so they do have it every year. So, that's a shame that you weren't able to go to it this year. The river dyed crimson, a horrifying sight. The river dyed crimson? I take it you're not talking about the setting sun or anything like that, are you? The color of blood is the color of death. Yet no one was hurt, our only salvation. So that means the poison was red. I only found out 2 years back when an internet radio show host I like posted pics on his Facebook. That's cool. Have you ever gotten to go to it? Can't imagine how much you need to dye a whole river, though. It lasted mere moments, but the river was stained red as far as the eye could see. The source was upstream. All that remained were the corpses of the fish. We know not when the river will be pure once again. Thus the men cannot fish. That does sound pretty tough. Were the fishermen okay? The ones who were out on the water when the poison first showed up? Fortunately, they noticed quickly. There were no casualties. Unfortunately, no. It's a bit pricey and I didn't have the cash. Oh, that's a shame. Hopefully, when they get started back up again, you can go to that. That sounds very, very fascinating. Something see, but the talk show host is a guy called Daniel Ott. Amazing host. Daniel Ott. I'll look him up when my stream's over for the evening. I'm planning to go for at least another hour. Maybe a little under that. He has some nutcases on his show sometimes, but he's had some interesting people too. that sounds like Coast to Coast. I've got a friend who was really into Coast to Coast. Several fishermen who had come into contact with the substance did fall ill, but all of them have made a full recovery since. Our only salvation. The Spartas were uninjured too. A large amount of poison coming from upstream. We might be dealing with a bigger disaster than I thought. And it looks like that's everybody. But I like him because he doesn't let guests dodge questions and isn't afraid. That's cool. Yeah, that sounds really interesting. I'm definitely gonna have to look him up when we're done for the evening. I guess we got enough information to start with at least. Let's go through what we know and see if we can sort it out, okay? The guest tries to dodge a tough question. He presses harder. He's had guests hang up on him. Man, taking the coward's way out, huh? Sadly, I could definitely see people doing that. First, let's see. When did the villagers first notice the poison? After I left. Yeah, they noticed it just after you left Celery. And that's why you're getting blamed for it. Next question is, how did they notice it? The river was dyed red. Yeah, seems whatever was in there colored the water red. Must have been a hell of a thing to see. And where did the poison originate from? Upstream. Yeah, that's right. And if it came from upstream, it must have come from somewhere outside of Celery. Alright, Adol. If you add all that together, who stands out as the most likely culprit? Coast to Coast is okay, but it's gotten worse over the years. The older stuff with Art Bell was the best. Yeah, I've seen some of, I think there might have been one particular, Art Bell call where there seemed to be almost a transmission interruption, almost like there was an alien being out there somewhere. I'm gonna have to listen to that one again, because I found out about that one while I was looking up transmission interruptions, stuff like the Max Headroom incident that happened up in Chicago back in '87. I think I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, there was a video on YouTube where they talk about transmission interruptions, and that incident was brought up in that video. That's how I found out about that. I'm gonna have to sorry, I had to stretch my back there, but I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna go listen to that again and just see what it was all about. But that was pretty eerie sounding, whatever it was. Let's see. It was someone from the village. It had to be. Yeah, I know about the Max Headroom thing. We probably saw the same video. I've heard people say they think they might have known who did it. But it's been over 30 years since that happened. We'll probably never find out who it was. But man, I'll tell you what I think is the funniest thing about that incident was you notice how when they cut back, it was interesting though. Yeah, and here's what's funny about it: when they cut back to the Doctor Who episode that they interrupted on the PBS affiliate, the thing that was said after the program came back on was, "It's a massive electric shock. He died instantly." And the other person was like, "But we were always so careful." I put that in the comments on a YouTube video and said, "Not that night, they weren't." It was just, that timing was just too perfect. And the great thing about it was, yeah, and they didn't plan it that way either. It just happened that way. That's what I think is so funny about it. But yeah, so let's see here. Yeah, and then it talked about one by Captain Midnight the year before, where Captain Midnight was complaining about the price of one of the paid TV services. It almost reminds me of the Wizard of Oz thing with Dark Side of the Moon. I tried that and it works. I'm not sure I'm familiar with that one. Can you enlighten me a little more? The only Wizard of Oz thing I'm thinking of is the supposed Munchkin that was supposed to be hanging from a tree that people later determined to be a bird walking around in the background, because apparently they had a lot of livestock walking around on the set. But I'm sure that's not what you're referring to. Let's see. It wasn't a person at all. What leads you to that conclusion? It makes sense when you think about it. You need a whole lot of poison to dye an entire river red. If you start up the Dark Side of the Moon album, and I think the Three Lions Roar in the intro, the music syncs perfectly to the movie. Huh. Are you, Dark Side of the Moon. Are you referring, is that a Pink Floyd album, or, because I believe they do have an album called Dark Side of the Moon, if I'm not mistaken. I think the third, this could be second. It's been a while since I tried it or heard anything. Oh, okay. Yeah, and then here's another thing you might find interesting. Did you hear about the one that happened back in 2013? It's the main one. I think it may be the only one that's happened since TV went from the analog era to the digital era. But they took a snippet of a song somewhere where they... you remember the Scarecrow having a gun? No. No, I don't. But yeah, there was a broadcast intrusion where hackers hacked into the emergency alert system equipment on, like, I think about 4 different stations, and they had it broadcast. Yep, neither do I, but he does. Who? He who? I'm not 100% following here. Are you referring to the Scarecrow having the gun? Huh. Interesting. But yeah, so if you never heard about this broadcast intrusion, apparently they took a snippet of a song that talks about that has this voice that says civil authorities in your area have reported that the bodies of the dead are rising from their graves and attacking the living. And then it goes on and says a bunch of other stuff. Well, somebody took that and hacked into some TV station's emergency alert system. Look up the Mandela effect if you're not familiar. Now, I've heard that term before. I think I heard about that broadcast transmission thing. Yeah, basically what caused that was the hackers that hacked into the emergency alert system equipment. A lot of some of the stations, or at least the ones they were hacking into, were using the default password. They hadn't changed it, so the hackers had an easy time hacking into it, and so that caused the FCC to launch an investigation, and they found out that not only were a lot of the stations not changing the passwords on their equipment, some of them were keeping their equipment in storage when they're supposed to have that equipment up and ready to broadcast whenever the emergency alert system's supposed to cut in. So yeah, that caused a lot of good things to happen. But yeah, the FCC started saying, look, when you get your equipment, change the password so something like this doesn't happen. Mandela effect is really creepy when you begin looking into it. Makes me wonder if there's really something to it. Maybe I didn't hear about that one with the password. I'm going to have to look a little deeper into the Mandela effect, because I've heard about it, but I'm not really familiar with what it means. I need to look into it further. Password part doesn't sound familiar. Okay, yeah, that's what caused it to happen, because they were hacking into emergency alert system equipment at these stations, the ones that hadn't changed the passwords, and basically it was broadcasting messages that told people that there was a zombie apocalypse, essentially. Humorously enough, some of the people who got that broadcast actually called the police and asked them if it was true. And the police had to tell them, don't panic. This whole thing is bogus. There are no zombies. Put the fire down. You're gonna burn us all alive. Don't do that. Basically, the Mandela effect is named after Nelson Mandela. A lot of people have vivid memories of him dying in prison in the 80s. Oh, okay. So it's like something didn't really happen, but people would swear they remember it happening. Is basically what you're thinking, or what it means. Am I correct on that? Zombie part sounds familiar, but not the password. Well, maybe that detail just got left out when you heard about it, because it was probably the same incident you heard about. It's like people are being put on some sort of altered timeline. I'm going to have to look into this a little further, because I want to hear some accounts from some of these people. Like, maybe something like that could be referred to with the arcade game Polybius. I don't know if it's just a total hoax, or if people actually do remember seeing an arcade game like that out there when it in fact didn't exist. It's odd. The biggest one that made my jaw drop was the JFK assassination. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into this a little deeper. How many rows of seats do you remember the car having? Actually, I've actually seen video footage of the moment where Kennedy got shot, and I think there were 2 rows of seats in that car, in that particular car that he was sitting in. I could be wrong on that, but I believe that's how many I saw. But the footage is on YouTube. A lot of people remember 2, but nope, it's 3. Huh. Well, the footage is on YouTube. I need to go back and watch that again, so I can see where I went wrong. But I remember watching it, and it was like a completely open convertible. And it's crazy that something like that would actually be on YouTube, but it's there. You need a whole lot of poison to die in a Tire River, Red. What got me was that about 2 years back, I had a sudden interest in it and was really looking at it. You're starting to get me interested too. I'm gonna have to look into this. And if it came from upstream, that would mean someone poured it into the river from somewhere outside the village. No way anyone could lug that much poison through monster-infested woodlands. Not on their own, like Adol would have been. I mean, I'm not saying it'd be impossible to poison the river from upstream, but to dye the whole river red? Not likely. It does seem rather implausible. So your conclusion, then, is that the culprit may be a natural occurrence or a creature? Then a few months after that, I saw a new video on Mandela effect, and that was in there with 3 seats. Huh. That's interesting. Was it, yeah, that is really interesting. I'm gonna have to dig a little deeper on that. At all. And Adol, and you said your name was Durin, yes? Could I ask you to come with me? Ugh, I feel sick. Adol, I can't believe you're okay with all this thrashing. Is that a bird? Lucky thing up there all graceful while we're stuck down here on these things. I really don't know if any of this is real or if there's an explanation, but it's interesting. Yeah, it is. But, let's see. I like to keep an open mind. This world has far more going on than people realize. Man, you could say that again. You could totally say that again. Not all of it is for good, unfortunately. And that, too. That's true as well. Whew, man. You're right on both those counts. Ah, I saw this in the intro. And look at that. Oh, crap! Is that poison? Sure looks that way. Looks just like what they described in Cellray. Isn't it harmful to the Spartas? Some people think the Mandela effect is a result of CERN. I'm not sure, but it wouldn't surprise me. CERN, that's a term I'm not familiar with. I'm going to have to look into that, too. But you've definitely sparked my curiosity tonight. This should be far enough. Adol, I feel I must apologize to you. What? Why now? You don't need to apologize. You are a very forgiving person, Adol. And you do not ask uncomfortable questions of others. But you deserve to hear the truth. I know the culprit that poisoned the river. Huh? Really? So why'd you keep quiet about it all this time? My reason hardly makes up for all that you have been through. As you suspect, the poison was not put into the river by a human. Rather, it was the Spartas themselves who befouled the water. What? Far upstream lies a Sparta breeding ground. I am almost certain that they are responsible for this incident.
Hold on.
Hold on, aren't the Spartas sacred beasts? What kind of sacred beast goes around poisoning rivers? The Spartas raised in Cellray are not able to do so. Wild Spartas, however, are known to secrete a poisonous substance when they become excited or scared. Yeah, look into CERN. You'll find a lot of interesting stuff about what they're doing. Interesting, they have a statue of Shive, the god of destruction, outside their building. So it sounds like they're an organization of some sort. Oh, Shiva. Okay. Sounds like they're an organization of some sort, or maybe a cult. Wild Spartas, however, are known to secrete a poisonous substance when they become excited or scared. Seriously? Do the villagers know about this? No. The villagers have no idea. The people of my tribe have raised Spartas for ages, all the while obeying the ancient laws pertaining to them. And those laws forbid us from telling others the secrets of the Sparta. Yeah, some science thing looking for the God particle. They have that huge particle collider. Oh! I'm really gonna have to look into this now. My curiosity is piqued. This includes the fact that wild Spartas bear poison. So your reason for bringing us all the way out here was to keep anyone else from hearing you? Does that mean something like this has happened before?
No.
As far as I am aware, this quantity of poison has never been found in the river prior to now. Those not of my tribe are forbidden to approach the wild Sparta's breeding ground, and have been for as long as I know. I was told that this was to avoid angering them, but of course, protecting their secrets was also of the utmost concern. What could have caused this? Sadly, I have no answer to that. If you have any interesting videos or anything like that, then PM me and share them. I definitely will. This has turned into a very interesting conversation, and I thank you very much for that. I would have to go upstream and investigate the matter myself in order to find out. While I realize it is quite brazen of me to ask for a favor after causing you so much trouble, I would be most appreciative if the two of you would come with me. Why? So once we get where we're going... Oh. Right, so can you remind us where we're going? No, thank you. Not many people are capable of talking about anything beyond what the mainstream news tells them. You've got a point on that. You definitely got a point on that. As you wish. The Wild Sparta breeding ground is situated south of Selray. On that drawing you call a map, it would be about here, I believe. So as long as we follow the river south, we'll be there in no time. Doesn't seem too far from here. Indeed, the entrance is situated near a waterfall basin. It is difficult to miss. I have told the villagers that we are continuing the investigation. Make sure you are properly equipped for the perils that await before leaving the village. Alright then, let's do this! And we've got Ozma joining the party. Party abilities are active when there are 3 or more party members. There are 2 different party abilities. The best thing I did was stop watching mainstream news about 15 years ago and do my own thinking. Sounds like a great way to go. Yeah, Sorry, got a little tongue-tied there. Yeah, I need to look at other sources as well, I suppose. Rare item, drop rate up. Activates when the active party contains 1 of each attack type. Enemies may drop more rare items. Increased damage. Activates when the active party contains 2 of the same attack type. Party members deal extra damage. So either way, you get a bonus of some sort. Well, folks, sorry about the video feed cutting out. This is just something this game does every time you save or load. I just try and keep an open mind on everything. If I have doubts, I pray on it. That's a really great way to be. I applaud you for it. And I always enjoy having you here. We have some pretty interesting conversations, so thank you for that. On that note, folks, I think this would be a good time to call it a stream for the evening. Let's see if we can find somebody to raid tonight. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, you too. I think Mr. Yeti is on tonight. Yeah, he's on. What is he playing? He is playing Box Revenge for the TurboGrafx. So we are going to go ahead and raid Mr. Yeti. He hasn't been on in a couple of days, and I bet he's relieved to be back at it. I'd like to thank everybody for watching. Be sure to check back tomorrow for Throwback Thursday when we go over the arcade classic Kangaroo, which was released here in the U.S. by Atari. That one's gonna be a blast. For now, this is Thunderfist 1978 signing off.